So again here, I'm going to be solving by completing the square. And I have some things. Okay? Okay, let's look at these things. So on this one it says solve by completing the square, and this is actually the first time we see something in front of here. That's just not one. So what do we do? Oh no! But I noticed something. Hopefully you notice it too. What do you notice?
I noticed you can factor out a 6.
Yeah, you can factor out a 6. So I would take out a 6, and that would give me just x squared plus x plus 2. Oh, that's nice. And then equals 0 still. Yeah. And since we're solving, we can actually we could actually divide by the 6, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. Because with the black part, I'm going to complete the square, just like normal. Except for I have a 1 there, but that's no big deal. We've dealt with that before. So let's complete the square and see what happens. So I'm going to circle this for a second. Maybe I'll circle it in blue. I'm going to circle that because I know I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to use it later, or I'm going to rewrite it later. So I will, let's see, I'll use my form. Whoops, I want to do it in black so you know it's the black part. X, empty space, squared, minus, and then we'll eventually have a plus 2. And I'm not going to write the equal 0 part yet, so maybe I'll circle that in blue so I remember to put that back in. And then I take this is 1, I divide it by 2, so that's plus 1 over 2. Great. And then I square this. Remember, I square it and I put it out here. So 1/2 times 1/2. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So I have the 4 out there. Great. And now I get a common denominator. Super easy. Super nice. No, not 2. 4, right? I get a 4 there. And then I have x plus 1/2 squared, and then I have a negative 1 over 4 plus 8 over 4. And that's a positive 8 and a negative 1. You got to be very careful with that. Lots of people screwed that up on the quiz. So it'd be like this. 8 minus 1, that's negative 1 plus 8. That's positive 7 over 4. Yeah. And then I suppose I could put everything back. So I'm going to do that. So now I'm going back and I'm putting in the 6 and the equals 0. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to, yeah, I'll distribute it back in. So this is how you distribute stuff back in. It's not super difficult. It's actually very, very simple. You don't distribute into the x plus 1/2 part because that has an exponent of 2. So you can't distribute there, but you distribute just right there. Just right there. And then 6 times 7/4. So we'll take this and we'll have 6 in the front and then x plus 1/2 squared. And then we're going to have, what is 6 over 1 times 7 over 4? I can reduce that. Divide by 2, that's 3. Divide by 2, that's 2. So that would be, what, 21 over 2? Yeah. So 21 over 2 equals 0. And now the instructions were to solve by completing the square. So I completed the square, and we know how to solve this. We can do that. That's easy. In fact, I could get rid of the fractions, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to should I get rid of I feel like, okay, yeah, let's get rid of the fractions. I'm adding and subtracting fractions, so what do? I get a common denominator. Same steps as before. So I'll times this by 2 and this by 2. It's not super hard. So I get actually a 12 on the outside. X plus 1/2. I don't do, it's kind of like this exponent is protecting all of this inside. We don't really do anything with it. and then plus, so I'm getting rid of the denominator, right? I guess this was over like this, so that still equals 0. So I have 21 equals 0. There, no more fractions. We know how to solve this. So I will subtract 21, subtract 21, that goes away. And I have 12, x plus 1 over 2 equals negative 21. I will take this, I will divide by 12. I will take this and divide it by 12. So that it goes away. We have x plus 1/2 square equals to, I can reduce this, huh? I can reduce. I will reduce by 3. This will give me negative 7 over 4. And I will take the square roots. I will take the square roots of both sides. So I take the square root, or I have a negative in the square root. So I will take this, and I will have x plus 1/2, and I will have this is on the outside. So I have a negative in the radical. I make it into plus or minus I in the square root of the 7 over 4. We've done this before. And then I add 1/2. Sweet. Oh, no. I subtract 1/2. Subtracti. We've done all of this before, so that's not so bad. And I'm just going to write negative 1 over 2 plus or minus I times the radical 7 over 4. That is the answer. I could also, remember, I could also write it as two separate equations. 1 over 2 plus I root, actually, I'm going to say plus or minus. I could write it like this. I think I mentioned this before. I noticed that this is a perfect square. So these are actually the same thing. If you square root a fraction, it's the same as square rooting the top and square rooting the bottom. I tried to mention that in class, but then we get a common denominator. So we have 1 over 2 plus or minus I root 7. The I will stay in the top. And in the bottom I have that. So that's the answer. I could write it as a single denominator, or I could write it as two separate values. And I think I will write it as two separate values right now. So I have this. I also have the negative 1/2 and minus and the square root of 7 over 2. So I have those two answers are my answers. And I will do another one. I will.